now.
Broccoli Bob and the Organic Outlaws in The Rodeo Rumor by Karen Drum. Ah, another day in paradise, thought Broccoli Bob as he did his morning stretches. When he reached up into his sun's salutation, he saw something orange fluttering in the distance. As it came closer, Bob realized it must be Molly Monarch coming back from her winter trip to Mexico. Bob wondered. She usually has a bunch of friends with her. Well, howdy, Broccoli Bob, Molly said as she landed in the broccoli patch. And howdy to you. But good golly, Miss Molly, where are all your friends? Bob exclaimed as he tipped his hat politely. Actually, winter in Mexico was frightfully lonely. Hardly anybody showed up, and the ones that did talked about everyone going to a big rodeo somewhere. She paused with a sigh. Oh, look, here comes Billy B. He said lots of his friends went to the rodeo, too. Well, 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 Billy B. I can see you've been out pollinating again. It's all over you, Bob said with a wink. It was them, Billy said, pointing. Those flowers by the fence. They said they don't get pollinators like me anymore. They grabbed me and tossed me around like a volleyball, B said as he tried to steady his wings. While you try and get yourself back together, Billy B., let me hear more about this rodeo, Bob said as he turned towards Molly Monarch. I've just heard rodeo rumors, Broccoli Bob, but it must be big because they say it takes up entire cornfields. Billy and I are planning to check it out, said Molly, looking at Billy as she continued. Are you recovered? Ready for liftoff, Miss Molly, Billy said as he started his wings buzzing. Hope to see you and the other organic outlaws there, Molly said as they flew off. The two pollinators were just fading into the distance as Psychic Celery and her wagon pulled up. Broccoli Bob, something is seriously not quite right, she said as she looked into her crystal ball. I see Molly Monarch traveling with Billy B instead of bunches of her monarch friends, Celery said excitedly. Molly just passed through here. She said hardly anybody showed up in Mexico, and Billy is missing lots of his friends too. They heard a rumor that everyone went to a big old rodeo, and they've headed out to check it out, explained Bob. Wow, that sounds like fun for the Organic Outlaws too. We haven't been to a rodeo together in ages, Celery said with a big grin. You're right, Celery. Let's head to Veggieville and gather up the rest of the gang, Bob said as he jumped onto Psychic Celery's wagon. Bob grabbed the stick horse's reins as Celery cradled her crystal ball. It wasn't long before they could see the sign, Welcome to Veggieville, home of the vitamins. Howdy, Organic Outlaws, Bob said as he pushed through the swinging doors of the salad bar. Have y'all heard this rumor about a big old rodeo? Bob asked. The Organic Outlaws gathered at the bar. No, Bob, tell us more, said Gypsy Rose Leek as she hugged her favorite broccoli. Molly Monarch said not many of her friends showed up in Mexico last winter. The ones that did told her about a huge rodeo that takes up entire cornfields, Bob exclaimed dramatically. Wow, the outlaws said as they looked at each other wide-eyed. I think we need to check out this rodeo rumor. Let's get on our stick horses and ride, Carrot Cassidy said as he stood up from the bar. The Organic Outlaws headed out to where the stick horses were tied. All right, outlaws, let's go check out this rodeo rumor, said Broccoli Bob as he jumped on his horse. And we're off to the rodeo, Carrot Cassidy hollered out as the outlaws galloped off. Maybe we'll catch up to Molly and Billy, Bob thought as he rode along. Just then, Gypsy Rose came galloping up beside him. You're not daydreaming about any other vegetable but me, are you, Bob? She asked in a dreamy Ginger Grant kind of way. Suddenly, Psychic Celery cried out, Whoa, outlaws, something is way, big time bad. She held up her crystal ball, which had become a huge, flashing red light. Hiya, bunga, said Broccoli Bob as he screeched his horse to a stop. I've never seen it do that before. Hiya, bunga is right. It looks like Billy and Molly are in big trouble, Carrot said as they all gathered around the glowing ball. We've got to find them. Uh-oh, said Sheriff Squash. I think I see something orange up ahead. Soon they were surrounding Molly Monarch, lying on the ground, barely flapping. OMG, Molly, the outlaws said in unison. No, Bob, she said weakly. Not OMG, she coughed. It's GMO, she coughed again. And it's not a rodeo. It's a roundup. The outlaws looked at each other puzzled. Psychic Celery grabbed her special, pure pollen elixir and gave Molly Monarch a sip. This doesn't look like any roundup I've ever seen, Bob said as he looked around at the giant cornfield. Where are all the cows and cowboys? Right, Bob, Molly said as she slowly regained some strength. This roundup is run by Manny Zanto, with help from Kimmy Cole. Rounding up corn is not much of a challenge. They don't really roam around much, said Broccoli Bob as he pulled out his lariat and lassoed the nearest stalks of corn. Manny Zanto must not be much of a cowboy. Hey, cried Gypsy Rose Leek. There's Billy, staggering around like a zombie. Which way did I go? This is no rodeo. No rodeo. And I am not ready for this roundup, Billy muttered, completely disoriented. Whoa, outlaws. There's something not quite right with these ears of corn, Psychic Celery exclaimed as she held up her crystal ball. They are all stitched up and miserable looking, she said as the outlaws all stared at the creepy-looking corn. Suddenly, a bunch of wild onions galloped up on a stick horse. Danger, 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 they cried. Launch your stick horse emergency umbrellas quick. Warning, warning, here comes the roundup, and nothing is ready for it except the corn, they yelled as they rode off. All the organic outlaws hit the umbrella launch switch on their horses. Soon a brown rain started pouring down. Broccoli Bob noticed everything was gagging, choking, turning brown and falling to the ground. Everything except the corn. It was slurping up the rain like it was lemonade on a hot summer day. Broccoli Bob and Carrot Cassidy looked at each other wide-eyed with disbelief. That is the craziest roundup I have ever seen. Everything is sick and dying. The milkweed Molly Monarch needs for her caterpillars to eat is gone. All the wildflowers Billy Bee was visiting, gone. I don't get it, Bob said. Let's get a closer look at the corn, Bob. I thought I saw a tear coming out of one ear's eye. As they got a little closer, Carrot whispered to Bob, You know, that ear looks a lot like Cornelius Corn. Didn't he disappear a while back? Yes, Cassidy, it's me. But no, I'm sure not the ear I used to be. Not since I met Manny Zanto. He told me I would help feed the world with just a few modifications. He left out the part about feeding the world poison. Now I am the poster child of GMO, genetically modified organism. GMO? That's what Molly Monarch said. The rest of the outlaws gathered around Cornelius. But what can we do? Is there any stopping this Manny Zanto dude? Can we unmodify you? They asked. No, you can't unmodify me. But you can join the fight to label me and work to stop this crazy poisoning. Oh no, Bob yelled. Here comes that wild onion bunch again. Let's get out of here. Come on, Cornelius. Then you can tell us more about GMO and this Manny Zanto dude. The outlaws set up camp as far away from the roundup as the stick horses could gallop in one day. As they settled around the fire, Carrot Cassidy turned to Cornelius. We just don't understand this GMO stuff. Can you explain it so we understand what happened to you? Well, truth is, I look up to all of your great nutritional values so much. I have so many more carbs than the rest of you, which gets such a bad rap. I mean, I get vilified as much as bread and pasta sometimes. Then, of course, there is the evil high fructose corn syrup thing. It's not easy being corn. Manny Zanto came to talk to my farmer about how he had modified corn to make it easier to feed the world and, of course, said it was totally safe. The outlaws rolled their eyes. We've heard that before. Of course, my organic farmer told him to take a hike, but I totally fell for it. I jumped off my stalk and hid over by Manny Zanto's truck. As soon as he got there, I told him I wanted to be genetically modified into one of his amazing corns that feed the world. I thought I would come back and everyone would be amazed at my modification. Cornelius started to sob. Now look at me. I'm modified to drink poison and watch everything around me die. The poison goes in the soil, the water, and the animals and people that eat it don't even know it. Manny Zanto just keeps on telling his lies and counting his money. As the monarchs die with no place to lay their eggs, the bees get sick and confused and can't find their way home. But the children, as he sobbed harder, being born into a poisoned world. Wow, Cornelius, Bob said, shaking his head as he put his arm around the sobbing corn. Manny Zanto sounds like the worst bad guy ever. Yeah, Bob, and we've got to figure out how to tell everyone about this Manny dude and his wicked ways, Carrot said as he started putting out the fire. Tomorrow we'll hatch a plan for this crazy roundup. Broccoli Bob stood, stretched, and yawned. Time to hit the hay, outlaws. Hopefully a good night's sleep will give us ideas about what to do next, Celery said, waving as she headed to her wagon. Sweet dreams, everyone. To be continued.